Good morning, and welcome to the Deal Room Live, the daily real estate deal tank powered by Titan Impact Group, a global leader in AI-driven real estate investing and funding, where the real estate world meets speed, precision, and profit. And bring us your deal so we can put it into our AI model that analyzes and structures real estate deals in minutes, generates all the docs you need to get the deal done, and gives you a verified, unbiased breakdown of due diligence report. The investors get the advantage of getting fully vetted AI-analyzed deals that cut their due diligence time down by 60%. So you're in the right place. Let's open the deal room now and get into today's opportunity.
Good morning, guys.
Hi, good morning. You're back. How was your trip?
It was awesome. So much snorkeling. So that was good. How was your trip? How was the last day of the event?
It's the event was good. Barbara Cochran from the Shark Tank was there, which was really
Awesome.
cool. Yeah, so that was really cool to see. She was amazing. And so super happy to do that. And then met a bunch of, as always, I go to most conferences and I'm usually farther along than most people.
Mhm.
So it's, more challenging to find people who are farther ahead in the journey than we are. But we did get connected to a couple of people that I'm really excited. Ended up sitting down and having lunch and, figuring out just starting the relationship. And now we're going to follow up with all the things. So yeah, it was, and one of the things inside of dealing with my Hashimoto's and perimenopause and stuff, it's that it literally, like, I'm so beyond exhausted. So I
Really?
literally take an entire day. It usually takes me about, a few days to recover, but so yeah, yesterday was brutal. So yeah, just coming back,
I'm sorry about that.
Enjoy
That's
being
what I have to
young.
say. Right? Exactly. When I was 20, I was like, I'll sleep in your bed. Now I'm like, okay, I really have to take care of my body.
Enjoy being young and being able to eat 1,300 calories in a meal and not put any weight on. And
I have never ever been like that though. I have a really bad metabolism. So I have to be very, very specific about what I eat, but I can bounce back energy-wise at the moment from anything.
Yeah.
So I was
That's how I
traveling.
used to be.
we all used
And
to be that
then,
way.
yeah.
Oh
And
man.
now it's
I remember years ago picking up, I was like, I majorly loved Carl's Jr. and I went and picked up like a Western bacon double cheeseburger and fries and a milkshake or something. And I was like, this is 1,300 calories for just this bag of food. I'm like, does somebody want a fry? Anybody want a fry? I'm like, but I could eat like that. You can't eat like that anymore.
crazy.
Brendan's got that metabolism. He like burns food before he eats it. Just super.
Yeah. I
My
know.
brother can eat like 6,000 calories in a day, and he's
Oh,
like a
good
stick.
That's
God.
my son.
I'm like, this is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
That's Sarah and Jordan.
Ridiculous. Whatever.
Whatever. That will bite them.
Okay. So I'm not sure where Tommy is. Getting a bunch of stuff done. Where are we at? Talking about all the things. We got multiple deals that we're in the middle of. And I don't know where Tommy is. Does anybody, hey Blake, good to see you.
There he is. I'll let him in. Driving.
Is there
Blake's in his mobile
anybody,
office
right?
with
Is
friends.
there, with friends? Does anybody have a deal that they want to run this morning?
Tommy.
Any deals?
I have one that I found that's an RV park, but give me one moment to get it on the computer. If you guys want to check out an RV park.
Yeah, I don't know what Tommy wants to do today. Here's what was interesting about this conference is that, again, the whole herd mentality. It's that they're all about get RV parks, get RV parks. So of course everybody in there wanted RV parks and they weren't talking about any other asset class. Again, I find that to be very dangerous in being very asset class focused rather than diversifying your portfolio. Yeah, it was definitely a lots of interesting conversations. But again, proximity is power, so we got to be in rooms and in conversations with people that were pretty amazing. So, yeah, really cool stuff.
So the main focus of the entire event was RV parks.
So, hold on, I took pictures. So there were four things basically that they talked about throughout the whole time. It was, who the heck was it? They did a bunch of AI stuff, which was interesting. So they talked about co-living, the RV parks, wholesaling, and then starting in on buying businesses. So it was, or no, these are like, they did a high level overview, but now he's doing follow-up conferences for each one of these throughout the year. He's doing 4 more conferences for these specific models. Anyway, so, but a good part of it, and again, it was a majority of the conference was all about mindset and, focusing on that things are going to get hard. And when they get hard, what do? Do you give up and walk away? Or, do you the whole thing was build the band. So rather than build a brand, yes, you need to build a brand, but when you build the band, the team that comes around and, puts the whole thing together, that I had a huge amount of insight inside of that, given that there's 3 types of entrepreneurs, right? There's the skilled producer, the person who's really good at doing the thing, so we can consider those operators. So they're really good at running an RV park or doing co-living or like running the septic tank company. Like they are good at doing the thing. Then there's the next type of entrepreneur, which is the manager leader, and that's the person that really loves to lead and manage people and develop them and all that. And then there's the true blue investor, which is a true blue entrepreneur, I'm sorry. And it's the person that sees the opportunity and literally can likes to create it all the way through and then exit out the other side and do it all over again. And it's important that you have all 3 of those people on your team because again, it takes all 3 to actually make that be successful. So by having your band, your team built, and making sure that all 3 of those people have an equal voice inside of, whatever is being built, that's a super important piece of like building up an empire that you can actually grow. And so one of the things that I realize is like we're all these things. Like that's the first thing to see. We're all these things, and there's one that we tend to lead towards the most. And I definitely am I see opportunities and love to build it and then exit out the other side. And then the other thing is, oh, sorry, just had this thing on too. The other thing to understand is that like as different team members come on and we're going through building out, doing this conference and all that, that different people have different skill sets, which like I've been the entrepreneur, seeing it through and like creating it and exiting out the other side and just continuing to do that. But for instance, like Tommy's better at that than I am, which has allowed for me to step back and go, realize that one of the things that I am really good at is, developing people and creating them and coaching them and, taking them to the next level. So, that's something that I'm looking forward to leaning into and not having to be the one finding the deals and, going all the way through to the other side. So it's and doing that with different operators, which again, we found a couple this weekend that we're really excited about working with and going to have those conversations. Good morning, Amor. How are you?
Good morning.
There
How's
you are.
everyone?
So Amor was an absolute rock star there
Mhm.
at the event, which is really exciting. And again, talk about building the band. One of the things we're clear about is there's so many different networking groups and events to be a part of and communities, but we can't all be a part of all of them. I mean, we could, but it would just be spread too thin. And so what came to me was like Amor is clearly the face and connection inside of the Pace Morby, that whole community and all of that. So she's going to be taking on really leaning in and bringing all our deals and everything to that community, which I'm really excited. And then Katya, you have your community with the colleges, universities, and I really think that we with you and Hoy we can really grow that to have these bright, brilliant, full of energy college and university students who really understand that maybe whatever you're learning in college and university, maybe it's not fully preparing you financially to be able to create the multiple streams of passive income. And when any of you wake up and realize that you can do both, you do your active, whatever you get in your degree in, for sure, lean into that career and use your earned income to buy assets that provide passive income, and your passive income pays for your lifestyle. So now your passive income can even pay off your school, your student loan debt, all of that to like catapult you forward faster. So, yeah, super excited. Tommy, Luke is asking, he completed the quiz. He's asking what's next. You're muted.
The instructions are in the assessment, so I'd have to see if he emailed them to me.
Luke, do you recall if you emailed the results?
I got results from quite a few people this weekend because of all the people that did it while we were out of town.
Sorry, I had not actually finished it yet. I wasn't sure like what would come next once it is
Oh, yeah.
finished, so
You need to finish it and then it gives you the final instructions.
okay.
So, yeah, great question. So yeah, a lot of people were super excited. They, which is hilarious about the whole AI thing. When we met, well, when I met Pace Morby, I don't know, Tommy, if you had met him previous to that, met out at our RV park, and yeah, him and Reza, they were looking at buying it and all of that. And then we had this whole conversation about AI, and they were very anti-AI, which was hilarious. And this whole conference was all about AI. Like,
Oh my goodness, I didn't know that. That is so funny.
yeah, they were very anti-AI for that whole conversation.
You
I told them my
converted them.
clone, all the things. So it just made me giggle that, whatever it takes people to make it their idea.
Right?
So, yeah,
That's funny.
yeah, that was really funny. And so they did a bunch of AI agents. So I want to lean into that and understand that so we can start building that out for building all the things, because I'm clear we can be leveraging more of our time, energy, attention, money, all of that. So yeah, that was a big part of the conference too. So I took a lot of notes, recorded a significant portion of the conversations. The other thing, Dean Graziosi was there. So Dean Graziosi, he was one of the very first people. I got his book and I have it somewhere. And his book like definitely inspired me to get into the multiple streams of passive income, as well as Brian Tracy. And he's always an interesting person to listen to. People either love him or hate him. I appreciate his message. I don't necessarily, subscribe to all the things, but I appreciate the message. And one of the things he talked about, which I do agree with, there were several things that he talked about in his talk, was the whatever your weaknesses are, it's like let your weaknesses be your weaknesses, and whatever your strengths are, lean into those in your business and like really develop and harness and grow those. And whatever you're not good at, like have, it's the whole buy back your time. Hire somebody, get somebody on the team that really, whatever your weaknesses are, really are their strengths, and that they thrive inside of that. And when everybody leans into their strengths, you go so much further and get so much more done, rather than focusing on your weaknesses, because your weaknesses, you just become mediocre. So rather than
I thought was such
developing your
a great
superpower,
point. I thought
right?
that was such a great point.
Yeah, I've heard multiple people say that multiple times. So it was just another really good reminder, which was really great. And then he talked about your why. Your why was really, really important. And then he actually did an exercise, and it'd be really great to do the exercise with all of you. Like, why are you doing this? And really getting down to, like, they call it 7 layers deep, and asking this question over and over again. And when we ask the question over and over, it's like we really get down to like what the heart of whatever it is that we're wanting to create, because things are going to get hard and they're going to get tough. And when we lean into that, then, we can grow. But if we run away from it, we lose, everything that we came up with. And I'm looking for the actual question because I took pictures of everything. Ooh, met another billionaire, got a picture with him. Thanks to him,
Nice.
we got to have a conversation with him. So Hoy got his first picture with a billionaire. So hold on, I'll show you the picture. Is it? Here we go. Hoy and Katie sent me to the spa, spoiled me a little bit, so that was fun. So this is Vic Keller. That's Vic Keller, Hoy, and I. So we got to have a really great conversation. He was an amazing man to actually, again,
Cool.
his whole, what was really cool was everybody was all about impact. That was really neat. That
Is
was
that
a
Keller like
very,
Keller Williams? Is he part of Keller Williams?
no, it's not part of,
No,
same name, but not,
something different.
no affiliate. So yeah, he talked about building, obviously buying and building businesses and teams, and his whole thing was it's all about teams, building and developing teams and building and developing people. Like it was people, 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 people. Like that was the common thread throughout. And then this was another interesting slide right here. So it says the greatest wealth transfer in history is coming. So it says 10,000 baby boomers retire every single day. $84 trillion in wealth is being transferred over the next 20 years. 70% of small businesses have no succession plan. So what does
Wow.
that mean? That's opportunity for those businesses, because you have to understand these people have built these businesses, and they have their kids don't want the businesses. There's no like exit plan on the other side. So it's a huge opportunity for us to be able to lean in. All of us is what I'm talking about, which is really great. And then layers of a durable business. So he listed this out here. So it's all about having like number one, like what is your vision, your picture? Two, offer and demand. Three, your systems and processes. Four, talent and leadership. Five, financial discipline. Six, feedback loop. Seven, strategic control. So he talked about like how businesses grow and develop, and the whole process of it all. And then looking for the Dean Graziosi because this was good. Is he? And the whole hive structure that they have, that was interesting. Their revenue model.
What do you guys think about Cody Sanchez with contrarian thinking? I went to one of her events last year and she talks about buying businesses all the time.
So my friend that actually wrote the book on it, Cody texted out his entire book one line at a time, or tweeted out, and that's how she ended up becoming, really famous. I would go back to the source rather than buying another course. That's just let me give you.
Nadia, what was your question though? Like, because
Just your
we
thoughts
have imposter.
personally.
There's the thing. We have imposter syndrome that goes both ways. Here's what I've learned this weekend. Bad people will always achieve their goals because they don't have a conscience to deal with. Okay. So they're imposters. They're pretending like they want to do good and do well for everybody, and they're absolutely full of shit. Right? And they're able to capture you because of the fact that they look so motivated, right? And you wonder how are they able to do this without any problems? Well, bad people don't have problems because they don't have guilt. Good people end up in self-sabotage where they're like, oh, I'm feeling like I'm taking advantage of somebody, so I'm not going to put forth the effort into this because I don't want to fail somebody else. Right? I'm okay with failing myself, but I'm not going to fail somebody else. Right? Whereas a bad person's like, oh, I don't give a shit. You should have did your homework. I told you that results may vary. Right? Like people that jump behind that thing right there, are like people, that's what I look for. Right? So, but to your point, what was the question about Cody? Because regardless of what her motives are, the contrarian personality is part of our assessment, right? And so in the assessment survey that we designed, I have Cody Sanchez in there as a personality type. Not necessarily saying that she's a good person or whatever, stealing, it's called plagiarism. We went to college, we know what that is, right? If that's how she got famous, whatever. Like again, you don't have to have the best product to be popular. You just got to have the most people listening to you about your product. You can have a subpar product, and because you're talking to the masses, you're going to get into you're going to get in there. So, but yeah, business wise, her whole thing is the contrarian investor. So what do you feel like she's trying to convey in buying boring businesses?
Well, she really preaches the fact that, like, I heard a lot about that, the wealth, this huge transfer of wealth that's coming up through purchasing businesses and adding AI into them, adding better systems. So you have that foundation, you just kind of level it up. And I
Right.
love that concept. But I personally know several people who are a part of her, I don't even know what it's called, her course. And it's just extremely unfulfilling. So I'm just noticing, like, even more being with you guys, that so many of these people that my peers trust don't really bring results. They just bring false hope. So that's why I was just wondering, like, what your thoughts were.
Well, and again, I call it hopium in here, right? We all can suffer from overdoses of hopium where we're like, oh, I hope this all works out. Well, hope is great until you get called into action. Like hoping that you make it from one side of the canyon to the other, is all that is until you actually get on the tightrope and walk across the canyon. I mentioned that because it was called the Walendas. They were the tightrope walkers of my generation. Like growing up, that was our entertainment, watching people walk on a tightrope and almost fall to their death. I unfortunately got to watch one actually fall to his death. And his family continued to be tightrope walkers after that and continued to perform regardless of what happened to their dad trying to cross a canyon, right? He hoped to be able to walk across it, but what he didn't accomplish didn't mean that it wasn't possible, right? And so just because he didn't accomplish it, his family came back to win back the name and say, yeah, it was just a bad day. It was too windy. He should have seen the dangers and paid attention to the risk instead of just relying all on hope they could cross there. And so as long as people understand that there's the chance for failure and failure is used as a tool and not as a way of dissecting, oh, it's not my fault. And I think that's the biggest issue that we run into is that we're like, oh, well, I took a course and I failed, so the course is done. No, it's not. If you don't use it, you don't get it. And so like I had people looking at my investor survey going, well, why would I want to do that? Are you happy in your investment life right now? No. Okay, well, that's why. Like, there you go. Like, go take a survey and find out if what you're doing is what you like. If you already know it ain't what you like, I'm just offering you an opportunity. And everybody we talked to about Deal Hunter and free estimates, I went around and did demos with people the whole time I was there. I never sat one. Like, I think the longest I sat there was probably 13 minutes and 22 seconds. And then I was gone. Like, I couldn't sit there. And I only did that twice. Like, I literally was only in the event space 2 times. Like, and like, I knew the bathroom better. So, the point being is that what I went around and did this with the demos for everybody, they enjoyed the interaction, right? And then what happens is like Cody Sanchez, she can only act with so many people at a time. Like Catherine, she's got her clone AI that interacts with 119,000 people, not everybody type of thing. So again, I think that becomes the bigger issue. But when I was doing the 3 demos for people, they're like, well, what are you getting out of this? And I'm like, your attention. I'm getting, that's the currency. They're like, well, you're not getting paid for it. No, I don't need to get paid. If you show up and you use it, the nice thing about AI is that as other people use my tool, other people begin to learn about what I'm doing, right? And the word spreads like the measles or the mumps, right? So and I believe that what I have is good, whereas what I think people like Cody or Pace are trying to sell is they're trying to sell the idea, the mindset, not the actual opportunity or the product, right? Because technically, like they don't have a product. Ideas are not product, right? And so this, I think, is where people lose that motivation to do it after an event is because they're like, okay, well, I don't see any tomatoes. I don't see any apples on my tree. What happened? They told me if I just plant this tree, if I plant this seed, that I'm going to have an apple tree in a minute, or some, beautiful tomatoes in a minute. And literally that's all they did was just plant the seed and let it sit. So again, however you go about a guru, like we were talking about it, I was thinking about it with my partner yesterday, Roman. He's like, how much did how much did people pay him to do something? I'm like, I think they were like charging $35,000 to be a partner with him for a year. And I'm like, that's a lot of money. Yeah, but if you can make 20% of that, 20% on that, would you do it? He's like, hell yeah. I'm like, well, then that's why everybody did it. Because literally he's taking 80% off of every deal.
Cases. Wow.
Right? And that's what people are upset about. They're like, 80% just for being him? Well, yeah. Like, you can't get 20% off your $35,000 investment unless you do know him or you bust your ass like we are, right? So, like, if you want easy, cheap money, yeah, go pay that dude $35,000, but do everything he tells you to do. If you don't, that's why you didn't make your money back. Because for him, he's making 80%. You better damn guarantee he's trying to make money. So, yeah, show up to every call, be in his face, be annoying, make him tell you to go away, right? That's how you get on these guys' radar. That's how these guys are able to get on stage and be like, I made $5 billion with Pace Morby last year. Why? Because he was annoying and in his shit and up in his face and always here, 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 here. And then listening too, being like, okay, taking the feedback and using it. That's how Hoy got to make money, was because he took Catherine's feedback and then used it, right? I bragged about Katya the whole weekend. Like, all she did was take my feedback and use it, and resulted in a zero down. Like, I don't know if people understand the magnitude of that.
Which is amazing,
Deal.
amazing.
That deal, like, I told people zero down on $12 million industrial property. They went, "Who did that? Who did that?"
You were
Like,
famous, Katya.
her name's Katya.
I didn't know that.
Katya Lindstrom
We're
without
proud
a
of
D.
you.
Lindstrom without a D. The D is
Yes,
silent.
thanks for specifying that.
Yeah, leave the D out, that Lindstrom, please.
The D's
But yeah, I
invisible.
walked around telling people that because literally that's what it is. So you take the information you're given and produce results. That's how people stay engaged. You turn hopium into reality, right? You had this hope that you'll find something, and you did because you did the work to get it. You got it. Now go forward. And again, some people are sabotage artists. They're like, oh yeah, well, and you can tell what it is because they bait and switch you. They're like, oh, I got this deal. What's your deal? It's kind of like, you show me mine. You show me yours, I'll show you mine. Right. And they do this little game like that. And then, that's how that ends up being, where people feel like they get burned. Right. I mean, we in here, we bring deals all the time. We're faithful about how we work these deals. And we were there, like, within an hour of being there, we ran into somebody we seen at another event. She's like, oh my God, I've been praying about meeting you guys. And she literally became the last meeting we had before we left, where we talked to that billionaire. So the girl that we met, like, within an hour of being there, who's like, oh my God, I was praying about you guys, was able to get us at a table with a guy that has a billion, who's a billionaire and doing deals. So it's like, oh, okay, that's how that works, right? That's a good piece of hopium. And if they tell you that story, you're like, ooh, I want to go to an event or a conference and have that happen. Well, only if God wants it to. Like, you got to be able to tell the difference, So, because doing what Katya did ain't no different than saying, okay, I'm going to read a book and go apply it, and then go out there and have results, and then share that with people. And so if that means I'm going to go buy a laundromat, they pitched a laundromat at this event. Like, they had a pitch day. It was 3 days that they were, 3 people that they let pitch from stage. One of them was a guy that wants to, like, be the Kleenex of laundromats. Like, he wants it to be a national brand. So, and so the only way he can do that is by buying something already kind of grown, not something he has to blow out and grow completely, but he wants to grow this laundromat into a national brand. And so then it becomes a sexy business, right? To say you own a McDonald's is like you're a McDonald's franchisee or whatever. Like, that's where this guy wants it to be. It's like, oh, I own a Star Laundry, And if you own a Star Laundry, you're up there, you're in the community doing stuff and doing things. And so, yeah, he probably watched videos and got information or inspiration from Cody. And then, but for him to go do it, does he then owe Cody anything for it? No, probably not. It's just information, but if Cody was right there, like showing him here's this property, let's do this one, or here, let's make an offer on these 8 properties here. Yeah, he better share some of that with Cody. And so I think that's the thing to tell the difference on too, is that, I mean, there was a 4-mile long line to just shake Pace Morby's hand and get a picture with him like he was the freaking at Walt Disney and he was Goofy. And I was like, what the hell? That's not people wanting to do a deal. Those are people wanting to be famous, right? Those are people wanting to absorb some level of amazingness because they were in proximity to Pace Morby, not proximity to what he created, right? I was there for the proximity of what he created. And so I got to meet amazing people and do all kinds of pitch opportunities for people. So yeah, it's those types of things that I think are important to consider. But yeah, if Cody Sanchez popped up on your feed, I'd be like, Katya, pay attention to that. But because the way you answered the questions on that thing, it kept you not in CS. You got a Catherine Bell brain, not a Cody Sanchez brain, and so that's why it's important to follow where you're at with that. And it's funny, most people that watch or listen to or go with conscious capitalism have heartfelt projects they're trying to dump into. And so those are the kind of people that you're going to try and surround yourself with, right? So somebody who's got a boring business making money, okay, maybe later on down the road, like after you maybe spend 2 years in this and retake the survey, and you'll have a different personality type. And I think that's where that comes in too, is that you'll look at that. Anyway, yeah. Good question, though. Good dialogue, good question.
Perfect. That answered a lot of my questions. Thank you. And Catherine, now you can go back to Dean Graziosi.
Well, again, be careful because it's an upsell to sell you all the things, but just some of the messages like that were woven in there, they're just some truths, which was really great. So really quick, I see Chris on here. Chris, we actually met at Raise Fest a couple of years ago. Anyway, Chris, if you want to come on, it just allows us to actually have the conversation with you. Luke actually asked, what's the purpose of the Landshark Investor Survey? So Tommy, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. Hey, welcome in, Chris. So yeah, the Landshark Investor Survey, let me just pull it up. I'll share one real quick. Katya, I'm going to use yours if that's okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Because this is proof pudding right here.
Hey, Chris, good to see you.
I don't have a share. Oh, there it is.
You as well. Glad you made it home.
Like, where is the share button?
It should be at the bottom. It's a
I
green
got it.
square.
I got it. We getting there. So after somebody completes a survey, what I do is I bring their survey in here and I create. This is an example of someone's survey results. I bring it in and I run it through my GPT real estate investment virtual board, and I ask it to create a highly detailed business plan based on that survey. Okay. And what it comes up with is a pretty strong diagram and outline of all of your information, because the investor survey, what it does, it gives you, in case you didn't see it, it gives you 2 personality archetypes, 2 primary core archetypes. There's 9 of them in there, and then there's 11 personality types that kind of support that. And then what it does is it also outlines for you the how the 2 archetypes, based on your answers, how those 2 archetypes work together, and what are some of the weaknesses that they have in common. So, and then what you can do is you can focus on what you're good at, what you're powerful at, and find the who that know how to do what you're weak at, right? Because it says right there, every strong archetype has a pressure point. And so this is what it's identifying in you as far as what you are as your investment personality, right? And so based on that, it gives you then suggested investment style, right? Storage facilities, car washes, etc. Because I think this person had a CB, conscious capitalist, and a creative capitalist innovator. So a creative capitalist, like a creative deal finder, and a conscious capitalist. So being creative while finding conscious, while being a conscious capitalist is important. So the thing finally comes up with a personality for you, like a deal alchemist or a legacy builder, freedom seeker. Okay. And then from there, it can construct a very strong, strong deal business plan that gives you a good outline, right, of what you should be focused on, how you can adjust, and you get a 60-day program. From here, I download this particular assessment result and I take it over to something called Notebook LM. If you've not been using Notebook LM, I strongly encourage you to start. It's a very amazing tool. Let me get it cranked up here and then I'll drag it over. Notebook LM then gets the opportunity to create the blueprint in a very aesthetic way. So I'm going to open this one up. This one is, I believe, Katya's because it's the first one.
Is that Katya's or Blake's?
I believe it's Katya's.
Oh, okay.
And so each one of these, even if it shows
Doesn't
like
matter.
how it's structured out. So hopefully this is answering your question as to what is the point? Why would I do this? Right? It's because this information becomes valuable. So and to that point, after taking this particular, after taking this particular survey, Katya wound up in her first deal, and it's like, I mean, I've been doing it for 30 years. It's literally the largest no money down deal I've ever done in my career, 30 years of doing it.
That's
So,
awesome.
right, like I've done no money down deals, but never for $12 million and never at 5%. And never for 2 years. And never had a DSCR score on it of 1.67. There's all these markers or milestones that Katya has hit. Good luck trying to do that the rest of your career, Katya. Like,
Way to start.
nothing like finding the golden egg your first try, and so again, if she lands this plane, it's an amazing testimony to just following what you're told to do and doing it. So that's what the Landshark Investor Survey does. Right now, what I'm doing is I'll pop into what I'm doing right now. So this is my real estate investment virtual executive board. Okay. And so right now, what I'm doing inside with my virtual executive board is we are building out a new executive summary. I have to update it because the last one I made was in June 2025. We're already in March 2026. And so I'm getting it to re-update what we've been working on and also adding to it where we're at. We've achieved a $15 million construction loan. We are now currently raising $9 million, and we're doing so by giving away 30% equity in the project itself. Once the project's done, we'll sell it for $30 million, which then gives the investors $9 million back plus about a $4.5 million return. So, and that's only for a 24-month period. So we're doing that with convertible notes and also equity participation in Titan 23. One of the things that we went through this week is much great stuff that happened. We had a significant tailspin tossed our way. We put together an amazing package for a client and they turned around and ghosted us. So we lost over $500,000 with that project. So a little bit ouchy, and goes back to vetting people. And anytime you got to give people discounts to participate, you should probably walk. So I will never, ever, ever give somebody a friend discount because friends should pay, if you really like me, you're going to pay full price and not ask for a discount. So ask strangers for discounts, not your friends, But this guy was trying to ask for discounts and really just trying to take advantage of a relationship he thought he had control of. And so we have to kind of step away from that for that reason alone. The fact that he ghosted us is just kind of like taking no with a happy heart and being like, okay, we're going to do something else. And what we're going to do is we're going to promote Titan 23 as the accredited investor vehicle. And then for those that are not accredited investors and they still have the ability to contribute the $250,000 minimum, then they can go with a convertible note. So, and we have those participation options located in the new executive summary, right? So this is one of the other aspects to this. If you haven't started using an executive board, virtual executive board, Catherine does those on a regular basis, teaching people how to put them together. My executive board has a pretty strong team of people on it and what they do. And so I have Grant Cardone, Robert Kiyosaki, Pace Morby, Cody Sanchez, Catherine Bell, Steve Tran, and Gary Keller, the Gary Keller of Keller Williams, not Vic Keller of all other cool things. So, so yeah, the executive board is that right there. For the real estate side, my personal virtual executive board that does all my businesses, not necessarily just real estate, but mostly all my businesses, has a different set. And I'm going to see where those guys are. They are, where'd they go? Right here. So that executive board that I have in here is Walt Disney, Ray Kroc, Richard Childress, Rudy Giuliani, Donald Trump before he was president, Catherine Bell, and Sarah Blake. And so the way that executive boards are set up is to kind of just help you create a better understanding about stuff from a different perspective, right? Kathy, I would have never thought to go look at land if she didn't know somebody that did land, right? If you'd have just took the advice of, what you read or heard on YouTube and went and started looking at laundromats, you probably would have went that way. And you'd have found a laundromat, and we would have worked through that, and we would have got you a laundromat instead of a big piece of dirt that you got to build 64 custom townhomes on that are going to run about $300 million, $400 million. So that's
Hey, Tommy.
her results having that conscious capitalism with the creative financing part of it combined. She actually did the epitome of her personality. So that's pretty darn cool.
Hey, Tommy.
As far as other stuff we got going right now, wrapped up the deal evaluation.
Chris has a question
Chris
for
has
you,
a
Tommy.
question, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Laura.
I'm assuming
has
it's
a
Tommy,
question.
right?
Hold on,
Yeah.
we got two going on.
Okay.
Chris, go first. Laura's a staple here, so she ain't going nowhere. We're gonna impress you real quick.
Oh, sorry. I'll be the annoying new kid. I just wanted to ask real quick on this VE board, as far as your virtual board and anyway, these tools, the sales team you're putting together and whatnot. Are these like prompts that are creating agents that are acting as an assistant for you? I mean, as far as like mental capacity assistance,
Kind of
trying to
like a
figure that
mental
out.
capacity assistant. So for example, in my virtual executive board, like I wanted to know about buying a new jet, right? So I have these personalities that fly on jets that I grabbed virtually off of the YouTube channels and the internet, taught my AI who they were and how they think, and then
Okay.
came back here and started having conversation with their virtual
Okay.
avatar.
That's what I was wondering, if there were prompts that were capturing their information, and their know-how,
Right.
and then just
Right.
that's
You're
badass.
getting like
I
a
like that.
whole input of all the other people that are in
Right.
there in order for them to kind of give you another point of view, and you make the final decision.
Right. Yeah. I
Yeah,
love that.
you're just the expert, the who that knows how. So like breaking down putting together a business plan, I can then put together the business plan and present it to these people, and they can say, this is what this is where we're having an issue, and this is what we want you to fix and work on. Right. So I'm going to go to a conversation I was having with my REI board. I only gave, and again, it only works as good as it's prompted. So going back, let me see if I can go back all the way up to the top here. Dang it. When I was having a conversation with it about the new deal we have, hold on one second. Good afternoon. Good morning. Yes, sir.
Catherine, is this stuff that I could use my Claude code to?
Yes,
like
I wanted to
my
I wanted to
AIOS
find out
to
about this
create.
deal. Can I call you back? I'm in a.
Sorry, ask that again, Chris.
Is this something that I could use the Claude AIOS to dig up? You know what I mean?
You're talking about the Deal Hunter, the custom GPT?
Yeah, just to create, to try and figure out the prompting on this.
You mean to build your own?
Yeah, we have a AI course that we do that with. So Catherine's got if you go over to, I think is it Meet Catherine Bell or TitanImpactGroup.com, Catherine?
That's meetcatherinebell.com. Yeah, so what we do is for 3 days, we literally teach you and your entire team how to build AI as actual team members. And these are the things that we actually work with you and literally hold your hand to actually get built for you and your company.
Really cool.
So like to just go back to this real quick, the executive board, I told them that I got this new deal where I'm trying to raise 30% equity on this now that we have the $15 million loan position. And so I started talking to it about it. And what it did was it came back with recommendations, and it came back with how the 30% will feel like. And so It's providing me with insight. And so right here it says my board is the pushback. Like I'm getting pushback. They're telling me what's broken, what they don't like, right? And so if I'm not going to pay attention to that, what was the point of building it, right? So I got to pay attention to all this stuff. So I'll ask it to, it said, I was like, hold on, go look at the review these. And so they reviewed them. They're like, okay, it still looks okay. And so then I went and made some more stuff. I'm like, hey, like I really do need you guys to buy into this. Like, what do I got to do next? And they're like, here, use this, do this, do this. And so I did all that. I made all that. I said, now here, review this for more clarity, right? And they're now they're going, yeah, it's okay, but and so it's like I'm getting resistance from fake people. Real people are going to give me just as much, right? So if I want these people to be all in with a happy heart and no bullshit, I need to continue to build what makes sense for them, right? And so I continue to fix it. Now look at these. And they're like, okay, we looked at it and they're like, yeah, now this is getting a little bit better. This is getting better. We like this a little bit more, right? And so this process of going back and forth with them until we end up with where we're at, now they're like, okay, now we're getting it. And I'm giving it and I'm doing what it's telling me to do. And I'm adding more information back to it. And it's coming back at me now saying, yes, this is what we need to see. This is what we want. Good job. Right. And so I built it that way because GPT is naturally built to lie to you and be your buddy, be your friend. So if you don't build it to be truthful, honest, and sincere about what you need to do to get better at what you're trying to accomplish, then you're just basically buying a bullshit wagon. And if you don't, does anybody know what a bullshit? We got some city slickers in here. You know what a bullshit wagon is? It literally is a wagon that you fill with bullshit and then you drive it. And what it does is there's a thing in the back that kicks the bullshit out and spreads the bullshit all over the field so that it fertilizes all the field and you get corn and then you feed that corn back to the cows that made the bullshit. Right?
Exactly.
So like if you're just trying to feed yourself bullshit to grow your own corn and eat it, by golly, don't change a damn thing on ChatGPT. Let it be your buddy, let it be your pal, let it co-sign all your bullshit. So now what I did was I went through and told it all the things that we're doing and said, this is where we need to be. It's creating, it's creating like structures, capital structure stacks for me now, able to capture these and bring these into documents that I can then send out. So this is, it's now wanting to do the document reconstruction process. We're into that. It's making more. I said, now here's some new stuff. I said, use these documents that I created based on what you created, like this going back and forth is now making it to where I have at the end of what I did so far is that I tell it, put this into a canvas to edit, copy, and download, and it'll put it into the canvas so I can review it, look through it, and then make the adjustments if I need to, or download it and just put it straight into an email to somebody.
It's your underwriting team. So they're very strict underwriting team. They look at everything.
A little bit more advanced than an agent that does all the work and you got to come back and check its work. I work with it. To me, it's more like a partner and in a relationship growing within. So does that answer your question, Chris?
Yeah. No, that's super cool. I'm digging it. Yeah, I didn't know if you guys brought that up at lunch the other day or not. I was kind of distracted by Catherine's amazing personality. So
yeah, she's a keeper. Laura, what was your question, ma'am?
I didn't have one. I was saying that Chris had one, and he kept asking you, and you couldn't hear it.
You're being ignorant.
You were ignoring him, or couldn't hear him, or something. So
Right.
I was defending Chris. I was like, Chris has a question. That was my question.
I like it. That's cool. So
really quick, I just want to make sure, Logan, do you understand the purpose of getting the survey done?
Luke, I don't know where Logan came from.
I don't think Logan's in here.
I'm looking. Logan called and texted me. So Luke, too many people doing the same stuff at the same time. Yeah. I don't know if you can unmute. Chris, we'd love to see yours. Roman, I don't think we ever did yours. Yours would be interesting.
No, we have never done it.
We need to do yours.
What do you want me to expose, Catherine? I'm sorry. You said to see yours. I wasn't sure what you meant.
The investor survey. So this is really interesting. The investor survey personality profile. And It was created essentially to collapse timelines so people stay within their lane of whatever their happy place is of the type of investments they want to do. It's actually quite brilliant. It's kind of like, what is it called? The Myers-Briggs, whatever
Meyer program personality test.
personality profile, but it matches it up specifically for investing and then creates literally a 90-day roadmap and snapshot for creating whatever your next stream of passive income is.
Gotcha.
Because my whole goal is every family has 7 streams of passive income. That is my goal.
Why so few? No, I'm just
No, that's just a start.
kidding.
So
That's a good starting
7,
point.
7 is what the average millionaire has. And then when they create 8, 9, 10, 40, all of those go to make an impact in the world.
See, that would be
7
interesting to
should
do.
cover all your expenses.
Right. That would be really interesting to do this just because I'm so concentrated right now on trying to automate my active so I can concentrate on my passive, but I just can't.
Right.
I need to turn that active machine
So,
on and really
have you ever used the deal hunter, Chris?
Well, what
We
do you
just
do,
learned
Chris?
about it.
Do you do real estate deals?
Yeah, Tommy, I was at lunch with you the other day. I don't know I had a red hat on that day, I think.
He
Yeah,
sat
no,
to the left of me.
you're buddies with Zane and Pitts. I know.
Right.
Who you are.
Well, yeah, at least, yep. I know Zayn and his mom. Yep. No, I mainly concentrate on private money facilitation, if you will. A lot of secondary, but I'm shifting it over to some primary and mainly escrow protected. But I was chatting with you a little bit about ranches and mineral rights. Briefly brought that up, and so that's
Right.
where I'm trying to aim for the passive side of things.
No, understood. And then is that what is your active is doing the PML and doing
Correct.
facilitating of that? Got it.
Yep.
Got it. Yeah. Are you where's your bottleneck in that you're trying to accomplish?
Me.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, typically.
Well, before about a year ago, I had a team. I had an operator, 2 VAs, 3 TCs, and a post-close coordinator. I have a post-close coordinator still, but I've clawed back because I had a platform that I was utilizing that wasn't very efficient and didn't quite do everything that I needed to do. And so I've recently installed an AIOS that I'm working on building so I can build out those agents to replace the VAs and the TCs for the most part. But I just need to get it to be more hands off as much as possible because a lot of what I do, especially with the secondary side of things, can be there's so many variables that it's hard to have that automated because the deal structuring can get so creative, right? As far as when it comes to protection, security stack, and all the above. So that's kind of the bottleneck I feel is the too many variables involved and at the same time the back end of things because with secondary financing, I'm in it from close of escrow to exit, whereas some of these other options that I'm trying to implement will be pretty much you're closed. I mean, as soon as close of escrow happens, you're out. You know what I mean? You're done. And that's what I need. I need something that I'm not going to have to babysit and handhold.
Right. Understood. There's some people I'd like to maybe introduce you to that definitely could, facilitate helping you accomplish that through some of their back channel or white label stuff that they got. So definitely could make some connections for you on
Tommy,
that.
what we can do is like today, I used the deal hunter to go look at I'm gonna go look at some raw land for an investor that is wanting to. He has a company that contracts the personnel for agriculture. We're here in Yuma, right?
Right.
So he's buying the land to put all his buses, the equipment and everything in there. And I use Deal Hunter to look at the land, look at all the permits, get all the permits, and then hopefully develop it. So I'm gonna bring the investor in. I already used Deal Hunter. They already gave me the whole speculation of what we can do in type of exit strategies, and that's how it's helping me to pitch the idea to the investor in this case. And I'm gonna wholesale the deal. So actually, a realtor has it, but he hasn't been able to sell it. But I already have the buyer. In this case, the investor. We're gonna go out to the land today. I'm gonna record it. I'm gonna put it in there. I already have it in there, and then we can show Chris, hopefully, and he'll look at it, see how we actually get the information. We go out there, we look at it.
I think it would probably be good to actually get on a call with Catherine because Deal Hunter is really just real estate focused, not so much investor focused. Sounds like what he needs is a back end channel, a back end or back channel for giving EMD out and doing EMD deals and stuff like that. So definitely something that we, is more Catherine because it sounds like he needs something built out like Deal Hunter, but focused on that category alone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I got
That-
the example right here. This is, Chris, this is just what Roman, my partner's talking about. Roman and I came up, Roman, myself, and Ning Young, our third partner in Landshark, came up with this thing where I can take this bird dog deal right here. If you see on the screen, this is a bird dog
Mhm.
deal that a guy sent me. He's a wholesaler. And so I literally just put in the term run this deal. That's my prompt. Run this deal. And what it comes back with is a quick underwriting, flip math on it, a buy and hold check, what that might look like, some funding paths, and a go, no go breakdown, and some recommendations.
Oh, really cool.
So it underwrites in like this one took 42 seconds.
Okay, and that's Deal Hunter. Okay, I didn't know what Roman was referring to, so sorry about
Yeah,
that.
Deal Hunter is, yeah, it's our program. This is what Catherine does. So we needed to be able to turn deals. We want to write 100 deals a month. We can only do that if we have the ability, right, to do
Sure.
that. And so Deal Hunter is this, it's this GPT right here that we use. That is a complete internal model that's available to everybody. If you
Yeah.
go to, and again, we work from GPT with this. I know that there's, we're actually going to be moving over all this to Grok and Gemini and Perplexity, and trying to build these out on other platforms as well. But in here, if you select the Deal Hunter by Landshark and go to have a conversation with it, you're getting basically a due diligence machine that's had over 900 conversations about real estate. And the way that I built it was so that on every one of them, there's a sources tab that will provide you with a long list of sources about the information it provided. So if you feel like it's not giving you accurate information, you have the ability to go check check up on it and make sure that it is providing you with good, accurate information, right? So
Hey, I don't mean to. It's 10:02, and I've
Yeah.
got other calls I got to get on. It's going to automatically shut this down.
yeah. So all right. Well, I appreciate everyone coming in today. We'll be back on it tomorrow. Hope everyone has a great day.
Thanks for joining us, you guys.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thank you.